good evening, good evening. What's going on, everybody? It is Motivational Monday. You know, that one day of the week, or actually the first day of the week I look forward to. Y'all know what day 2 is. We'll get to that. But we right here on Monday, the day that starts the week, that allows us all to get it kicking, get those energies revved, get your motor running, get your mind right, get your spirit right, and most of all, get yourself right.
Yes,
Mondays
sir.
is about getting yourself right. And this Monday, we thought we'd talk about, just varying things that are used as motivation. Everything from your artists to some of you may be into sports. Some of you may be into art. There's all kinds of beautiful things. Some of you may be into cooking. All these things can and should be motivating factors for you. I'm just
Hold
gonna,
on, but hold on. We got to talk how we got there. We got to
yes,
talk how we got there because, first of all, you sound like you had a wonderful weekend. Tell me about your
yes,
weekend.
sir. Yes, sir. So, just kicking it off here and, in the city, and I was looking for something to do and came across the wonderful lineup Saturday out at Coney Island at the amphitheater. They had Jeff Red Alert, Funkmaster Flex, Genuine, and the God Rakim. And I'm telling y'all, it was a nice, beautiful, beautiful, it was just such a dope setting. I mean, to see those, group of people come together, put it down just off the boardwalk, and to see Brooklyn and all the 5 boroughs out and about and everybody just in that energy. But I'm going to tell you what really made me happy about it. I live on the G line out here in Brooklyn. So this weekend that just passed, the G was running on the F line. So literally, I was able to take the train from my house straight to Coney Island and straight back. And for those of you who live in New York or aren't familiar with New York, there is nothing in the world better than your train running properly come the weekend. That makes you happier than anything else in the world. So that was one. And then yesterday, they followed it up with a paid concert that had Case. It was an R&B setting. They had Case singing, and then they had 5 DJs. They had DJ SNS, they had DJ Self, DJ Triple X, DJ Mike Neezy, and DJ
Nice.
Ray Z. So it was 2 back-to-back days of brilliant stuff going on out in Coney Island. If you haven't been in Coney Island lately, shame on you. You need to go on and get out there to Coney Island. They are doing some really wonderful things, building up out there. They got condos and all kind of stuff. Doesn't mean crime's not out there anymore, but they do have a lot of beautiful things. And you need to just go on out there. And, look, we don't have great adventures, at our disposal. We got Coney Island. We got a few
Right.
things. That's one of the things that makes New York such a dope city. We got our own amusement park in one of the 5 boroughs. It is what it is. So that was really the highlight of the weekend. Yesterday was a rainy day, but it was still a good weekend all in all, man, and just in good spirits. It got my weekend and put me in the right energy, right state of mind, to come into this week ready to do what I need to do. You know what I mean? How
Well,
was
let me
your?
let me tell you this. When you mentioned the lineups, what came to mind right away was, a couple of names that stand out as being like motivating to me. Like, so let's conquer these things because we always want to give people tools every week in which to look at different, angles of how to be motivated, not just how to get there, but how to apply it and keep applying it. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's easy to be, and don't get me wrong, we're all human and we've all been guilty of starting off motivated and not continuing to be and
Yeah.
staying the course. If I had $1 for every week that I started off Monday, like, yes. And then by Wednesday, I'm like, the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like that, but that's human nature because again, life is meant to be challenging. I was just having this conversation. Was talking about somebody that passed, and person I was talking to was like, yeah, man, I swear to God, like, they take the diet, the good die young, and fucked up people. You can't get rid of these motherfuckers, And I was like, well, I said, that might be by design. I said, have you ever thought about if that, because people say it all the time, have you ever thought about that could be by design? Because those people are meant to stay here and challenge us at every fucking angle and crossroads. So I that's just my belief. My belief is no coincidence that this good die young, and then there's bad guys around here. The bad guys there to keep us on our fucking toes. But I can look in any genre and any category of anything and somehow pull out something that's super motivating. You know,
Yes.
like when you brought up that and you said, yeah, the God was there, Rakim, and Rakim did what Rakim do. Automatically, just like a calming came over me because for so many years, for decades, this king has been that guy to me. And shout out to Sharonda, who sent me a gift, in the middle of the pandemic. She was doing a lot of catching up on reading, and she was saying like, "Oh, they got the sale on books. Anything you want to read." Now, I think as a gift, I didn't even know that. I don't think I knew the book was out, but she shocked me and sent me "Sweat the Technique," which is Rakim's autobiography, and I had way more respect for this dude after I read the complete story because we have a picture we end up painting living through the music, and then there's what's really going on behind behind the curtain that you're not privy to, that his family is, whatever. So it was a great book, great read to give you some insight on him. But when it comes to hip hop, I can easily, real quick, he's one of those names when you said it, many a days, bro, I put on a Rakim CD, or depending on the timing, I would put on a record that's just resonating in my mental and loop that bitch and just let it keep playing for hours and just to get me where I am in sound mind. Rakim, when I think of rappers, I'm gonna think of 5 right now that come to mind that was obviously motivating to me. Public Enemy,
Yes.
Rakim, of course, Karis One.
Yes.
Um, I'm probably gonna have to say like Queen Latifah, MC Light.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's more, but that's just 5
It's
to
fine.
throw out there and splatter on the wall. But it's many more, and some of them for different reasons. Like I know those sounded like some positive people. That's why I just threw 5 out there. But some people were motivating because the good spirit of their rapping. Some rappers had this good feel good spirit, like you know what I mean? Like when you listen to De La Soul, you
Yes.
know, they popped on the scene with some real feel good shit. I'm not gonna say corny, whatever, but they came in, daisies, you know what I mean? That whole, hey, lighten the mood, feel good, native tongue, blah blah blah. So the whole native tongue, actually, they had that feel good swag. When they did Buddy, to this day, you throw Buddy on,
Yo,
you might as well, you
everybody
might as well,
lives.
you might as well smoke a blunt for me.
It's so, you absolutely right when when you speak of, these artists in particular. One of the things that, again, talking about motivating Monday, we're seeing DJ Red Alert up there. Just through, the years and, being in certain spaces and certain places, you get a chance to run into Red Alert, quite often. And, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with Red Alert, this is, one of the true godfathers of bringing hip hop to the forefront from the radio standpoint. But what I'm always amazed with when I see Red Alert, because I think if I'm not mistaken, he's in his early 60s or whatever, is he's still doing it and he still loves it. Like, just like you with comedy, this man still loves mixing and doing music. And I think to the point of what Motivational Monday is about, it's about finding that thing that resonates with you. That's like breathing. It's like blinking. It's like drinking water, but it
Right.
just quenches your thirst, and it just gives you those moments. And I think that one of the things that we have to do much better at is finding those kinds of things that resonate with our spirit, resonate with our soul, resonate with our foundation. Each and every one of us has a foundation. I was, this weekend, beyond, obviously getting out to see the music, have an opportunity to speak to a lot of people on, from different varying walks of life. And, to your point, I had an opportunity to speak to our boy, Lord Finesse, over the weekend. And, I chopped it up about a few things. And he, said something that stuck with me. And he said, sometimes as life is happening to us, things are happening that are supposed to move us to whatever our next movement is, whatever our next level is, whatever our next great thing is. But we're so afraid, and we're so not paying attention to the moment, that we don't move when we're supposed to move. And when I say it resonated with me and it stuck with me, something awful, because I was thinking to myself, like, wow, we're a year later. Obviously, we've been, doing everything we can, not only to motivate people musically. We, had some games where we were, putting people in spaces where they could, oh my God, I hadn't heard that in a while. That's my joint from back in the days, and, all that kind of stuff. And I think that we have to really start challenging ourselves to know and understand that the gifts that we have, and they vary. Like I said, it could be cooking, could be sewing. One of the things that was dope about, Jeff Red and his performing, if my memory serves me correctly, I think my older brother Dez, who, we spoke about last week, he actually did the outfit that Jeff Red had on for the performance on Saturday. So
Nice.
again, just keeping those things that you hold near and dear to you, and utilizing them to motivate and to bring to the world, because your light is so important in terms of turning it on for somebody else. I know we don't think that it is at times, and you find out because when you run across people and they say things like, "Oh, I watched your show," or "Yo, do you watch this?" or "Do you check on when this person is doing this or that or the third?" It tells you that people are they tuned in. They want to know. They want to
Absolutely.
understand what it is you're doing, and that is motivating within itself, because that just simply means that your connection to the bigger picture is just that, an amazing, amazing connection. But you can't be shunned by, well, only 9 people got on, 2 people watched, 5 people watched. Who cares? The 5 people that watch, trust and believe, they're tuned into you. The 10 people that watch, they're tuned into you. The 20, whatever the number may be, they're tuned into you. Why? Because they know and understand that you're going to do, say, or give them something that allows them to also turn on their light. And that's a dope, dope thing to be able to do. You know what I
Let me
mean?
tell you
Like,
what somebody told me one time when it came to numbers. They said, T, because we get caught up in numbers. Oh, we want to get the place holds 300. We want to pack it out, and you get 40 in there, you get 30, or whatever. It's a stormy night. It's a bad night. You promoted on something else big is going on. It's a holiday. It's an off week. People ain't got no money. Whatever that reason. Somebody smart once told me, wise motherfucker said, bro, the only number that count is the numbers that made it. Like, and I remember this hit home for me maybe 10 years ago. I'm working at Joker's Wild Comedy Club in Bridgeport, Connecticut, with Cool Mike Ski. Shout out to Cool Mike. I was just with him in Florida this weekend. But Cool Mike Ski is promoting and hosting the show. And it was one of those rainy ass nights or whatever. And we were doing a show, and the place only holds about, it was a small comedy club, maybe a $1.25 or something like that, for every seat. And we got out about just under, I don't know, 40 people, maybe 37, 38 people, something like that. And he was hosting, so he's the first guy they're going to give him the mic. So he goes up and he does his whole first 10, 12 minutes on how upset he was about the number of people that was there, and he promoted, and he don't know where the fuck people at, and that's bullshit, da 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 da. And when he got off, dude, I was right there waiting for him to pull him inside. I was like, come here, we talk to you. He was like, what's up? I said, bro, don't ever do that. And if you ever do, don't do that shit when I'm in the building. He was like, what? I was like, dude, you spent your opening 12 minutes making these people who paid feel like shit. These people paid their hard-earned money. Yeah, I know you wanted 125 in here, but you got 40. Well, we owe these 40. We can't be concerned with the other fucking 70, 80 people. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they didn't make it. Hope they're okay. But our concern is this number now. Now we got to give these 40 motherfuckers the best night of entertainment they've had in their life. And it didn't, and that was told to me probably almost 8, 9 years prior to when, the epiphany clicked in, perfect storm clicked in, and it was like, oh shit, that shit's happening right now. And I had to, check it and like, bro, don't ever do that. He was like, no, I was just saying. I said, but look, think of how you're making these people feel.
Yes.
If you're up here, these people paid. They're sitting there, they order food and drinks, and they're in for the night. And your concern and time and effort is being fucking channeled on the people who didn't give you their hard-earned money and time to see whatever it is you're selling and producing. I said, don't ever make the people feel like that, bro. If I'm sitting in the audience, I said, bro, from the outside, listening to you talk, you make me feel like I'm in the wrong place to be. Like I shouldn't be here. You know, like, I mean, you know what, maybe I need to get my money back and maybe it's not gonna be a good night. You know what I mean? Like, and which ain't the case, motherfucker, because I'm in the building. Don't do that. You know, they gonna get a show no matter what. But my thing that destroyed me, kind of like made me feel some sort of way, was you're the first person to touch a mic. You know, and people, I don't think a lot of people always say talent, oh, you're a great host, and this, that, you're the best host ever did. And I'm not doing nothing special than nobody else could do, no magic powers. I'm just paying the fucking attention. Yes. So I'm reading the situation. I'm reading the room. I'm reading everything. And what I do know from just being on shows is what you say, when you're the first voice on the mic, what you say matters because it sets the tone of the evening. You know, I don't like the first person to grab the mic to just be like, oh, dick in the pussy and blah, blah, blah. Whoa, fam. Can we get some segues up to, how about, hello, everybody. Welcome out.
Good evening.
Good evening. You know, you're welcome to, you know, if you park over there, no good. You park over there, you're good. 2 drink minimum. Let's go through the motions. You know, let's be adults and work our way to where it's gonna be. I'm not saying that people can't talk about whatever they want to talk about, but you have to be wise, especially when you're hosting that first time up. I'm not going for the juggler and the blue stuff and the dirty stuff. Hello.
Just
Hi, I'm
like you
Talent.
said,
Welcome out. You know, how was your day at work? Are you guys together? Blah, blah, blah. Welcome. This is what we do. Tuesdays, whatever, Wednesdays, da, 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 whatever. Like there's a protocol to that shit. And I remember when that person said that to me, you know, I can't say it went in one ear after the other one because it stayed up there that when I found myself in that instance and was able to peep game, I checked it. So it was there. But my thing is like, yo, you got to be, you know, careful. We do get caught up in numbers. Like you were saying, people be doing their thing and it's 10 people up there. Mayor, if I had $1 for every time we start talking with 10, 12 people, and when I go back at the end of the week or a couple of days later and pull that same video up, and now it's at 1,000 views. That's what you do it for. If you're really believing in what you're doing. We come on here Mondays, not to be, trust me, we could both be doing something else right now. This hour right here, I got more than enough tequila to be getting fucked up. But I digress. I hold off on that tequila because, you know, it's a time and place, everything. And fuck you back, by the way, sending me a picture of Casamigos. Amir sent me a picture of Casamigos saying, fuck you, King. But you got to thank me, though.
Yeah, no question. So last night I told you it was raining, and again, you know, this motivation for you. So my neighbor's 2 doors down from me. She put out one of those, you know, tents that you can put out in your yard so that you got like a tent over your thing. So we in her front yard, and we had the tent out yesterday. It's raining, and fortunately for her, she said, well, when are we going to get torrential rain? I said, so a light shower wasn't good enough for you. Next thing we know, it's pouring. It's coming down. But it was her brother's birthday. So she was like, look, we just got some food. We got some drinks. You know, we could just stand out here, whatever. So I said, I bet. So she goes in the house and she pulls out the Casamigos. She said, me, it's not a lot left in here. So no, all the people that I was around, none of them had to work today. I'm the only one who had to work. So I was like, that's why I hit you with the fuck you. I was like, she was like, Amir, you gonna kill a Casamigos? I was like, now you know damn well I gotta work tomorrow. She's like, it's just gonna go back. Give me the goddamn bottle. Stop asking dumb questions. Give me the goddamn bottle. So, I'm here with Casamigos and Tito's. I'm mixing everything. And we having beers the whole nine. But you know, that is, you know, just light stuff, you know, to say even that can be motivating because to sit outside with my neighbors yesterday in the rain and you know, for us to just take that moment to just enjoy the weather. Sometimes we don't even think about that. A rainy day come and kind of stuck in the house, or whatever the case may be, or maybe you're out and about and it starts raining, you get mad at, oh, dang, the weather's messed up, gods are not smiling on me. And that's not the truth. In all reality, the rain is watering the trees, it's watering the flowers, it's watering the grass. You know what I mean? Yes, it may, hinder you, but it's doing something super beneficial for some of the other things that the earth needs. And we have to, or I'm hoping, because this was a conversation I had with one of my coworkers today, is we have to start putting things in positive lights for ourselves. You can't necessarily do that for somebody. You have to most likely do it for yourself. But by that, I simply mean whenever there's something going wrong or you think is going wrong, try not to put it in a negative light. Try to put it as a positive light as you can, because the more you do that, trust and believe, not only will you get through those moments quicker, but then you won't really have too many of those moments. I had another very good friend of mine tell me that, somebody who used to date, over the weekend, unfortunately, a young lady tried to commit suicide. But I bring that up because Motivational Monday is about getting people to feel good. It's about getting people to be excited. It's about doing things that put you in the right space and the right energy, because as we talk about from time to time, there is a ton of things that can bring you down. There is all of the talk about vaccinations or experimental drugs, depending on which terminology you want to use. There's all the talk about masks, no masks. There's traveling. This gentleman here, he's been doing a lot of traveling, so his week starts one way, and then he's got to get on this road, and you got to be in and out of planes and dealing with Ubers and various things. And in each and every one of these instances, what you will find is if you allow them to annoy you or be annoyed by them, then it's going to carry on into the rest of the situation. So you got to look for, the funny thing. Again, this is no knock to anybody, but I'm at the concert on Saturday. Now, this is what I will say. I love Brooklyn for this. Brooklyn really is its own world. So just to show y'all what I mean. So I'm out there, and there were some sisters, and this is not, because I'm going to get to the guys in a minute, but there was two sisters in particular, older in age, and they had on bikinis, but they didn't have bikini bodies. So I'm laughing because they're running around, and I'm thinking to myself, at this stage of the game, you still don't have breasts, which probably means you never had them. And that doesn't make you a good person or a bad person. Look, everybody's not built the same way, so that's not what I'm saying. It just was interesting to me that these two sisters in particular decided to wear these outfits. And I'm thinking at some point, neither one of them looked at the other and go, girl, we should probably change and put something else on. So that didn't happen. But here's what I'll say for the guys. The guys, for Brooklyn, these are super matching dudes. So I saw a gentleman, he had on polo shorts, they was white polo shorts with the black polo man, all over the shorts. Then he had a black polo shirt with the white polo man all over the shirt. I said, Joe, these dudes are serious out here. They're not playing games with this, but they putting their gear together. A dude had on a peach button up with a peach baseball cap. I was like, yo, it's serious out here. They're not playing, son. It's real in the field out here in these streets. So I'm saying that to say, this is the fun that you, but see, that's what I mean. You got to turn it into something fun for yourself. Because if you sit there and you be frustrated and you're like, oh, they're smoking too much weed, or this is happening, or that's happening. All of those are going to be factors in what goes on, no matter what you do going forward. Those are all going to be factors. The thing is, you got to look for your little comical things or the little things that should make you smile or make you happy. This person had on a hot pair of shoes. That person had on a dope hat or whatever. That was a nice haircut, whatever it is. And I think if we tried to do more of that, I think the world would be not only a better place, but we wouldn't find ourselves in such, all the time, because it's easy to, be in that energy. Like, I can't stress that enough. I know even as I rode the train, I was laughing to myself, on the way out there, if you're not familiar with that stretch or that ride, there's a lot of white people on on that line. And to see them, on the train, and they looking at me, I'm like, look, I'm headed to Coney Island, so if you want to come along for the ride, you come along for the ride. You're probably gonna jump off earlier than that, but I'm just saying, it is what it is. This is what we doing. But then to get out there, you got Nathan's, you got the roller coasters, and even that, I
Right.
was really, really happy to see people had won, prizes playing the games and all of that stuff. And I was like, yo, that was always a major part of making you feel good. If you went to the amusement park, and usually if you went with a young lady, or you went with a group of people, and it was one young lady or whatever, you were trying to get her attention, you wanted to win her a bear or something like that. But that's what I'm saying, is all those kinds of things that we should still do, we should still have fun with, because that's what's going to keep you in the space and in the energy you need to be in order to maneuver this game called life. Because it's going to throw some curves at you. You can believe that. One way or another, there's going to be some stuff coming. And you just got to be prepared to bob and weave a little bit, maybe woosah, whatever it is you do to get through and get past that. Music, comedy, art, like I said, cooking, whatever those things are. I know for me, all of those things that I just named are all ways that I know I usually cope with a lot of the stuff that we see going on in the world, because I find beauty in each and every one of those particular ways of expressing yourself. And I think that that's what makes the world so dope. You could see two people who doing the same thing, and they have two totally different approaches, and you'd be like,
Right. But let me
peace.
ask you that. Let me go back to the music. So let's start with hip hop. Give
Okay.
me five motivating, for you, personally for you, five motivating hip hop artists or rappers over the years.
Okay. So we got like you said, I got Karis one, I got Rakim, I got Heavy D, I got like you said, Queen Latifah. Um And then I'm just going to say the whole Native Tongues, because
Yeah.
thankfully that was a group of collection of guys that I knew personally. So when I had the opportunity to see them take, what they were doing at all, talent shows in high school, and turn it into, a real life career, I was like, wow, this is dope. So, that collection of, artists, and I'll tell you, really for me, the real reason why each and every one of them, holds some, some different weight for me. Kara's one, I always was just enamored with the fact that this man seemed to be prepared to go to war. I don't care what. If he was on your block and you start, rapping and say something out sideways, you can catch it. Heavy D, what I always loved about Heavy D was his his rap, and the way that he rapped. It was just so calming, and he had a way of always bigging up women. He had a way of
That's
putting
true.
things in perspective that always put us in the best light possible. And I think that some of these are redeeming qualities that we don't see as much as we could and as we should see now. In the hip hop game, the Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest. I went to school with the Jungle Brothers. I also went to school with Kamal, aka Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest, Malik. Fife also went to my, so I went to school with those guys. So to, know all of them, and to, see, like I said, them move into the spaces that they moved in. But this was the things that they was doing at all. How when you're in high school, they got the school talent shows, and, you got those one or two guys who just, always like, we can't wait to the school talent show. And you're like, these guys are good. And you want to, do the same thing. And you know damn well that really is not your forte. So you kind
Then
of,
I gotta go. Hold up though. You know what I forgot? Fun people in hip hop. Like I gotta go with Biz Markie.
yes.
Um, rest in peace to the late great Biz. Biz, every time I play Biz stuff, dude, it's like that's what I mean by like some of this shit is like got this euphoric happy shit on you. You know what I mean? Kid and Play.
Yes.
Salt and Pepper. Like it's just happy. Poor Righteous Teachers. You know who was fun, but they sounded like if you didn't know hip hop, it sound rough. But if you know hip hop, you knew it was fun. Das Effects,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So Das Effects is like this fucking fun, bounce around, hyper.
Yep.
Yeah, man, party jumping shit. I mean, even somebody like Rob Bass.
Yes. Yes. It Takes Two was a major what's called, and then just rap in general. Like we as fans of not only the genre but growing up in it the way that we did. You really listen to Houdini, and especially a lot of their early work. Freaks Come Out at Night. Big Mouth. The list goes on and on and on. Friends right now, Friends was so dope that you could play that song right now and it apply to every single solitary crazy friend you got right now. That's how
Shit,
bananas that
the
song
freaks come out too.
is. So
That shit is still fucking relevant, son.
relevant. You know what I mean? So and so it just, like you said, it just shows you how not only great, because also you can take things like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The message still super relevant till this day. I'll tell you another one, games people play. I mean, there's so many songs because we forget about some of the ones that were, within the, mix. By the way, I, got to say this real quick. I spoke to my cousin. He said, "Yo, your man did such a job doing business services." So I'm getting this from several people. They like, "Yo, your boy Talent Man was on fire." And I said, "That's because y'all ain't around this dude as much as I am." I said, "This is normal for him." I said, "But I truly understand it." I said, and I said, "And what y'all probably need to know is." Talent is the consummate professional. I said, we are thankful and mindful that we have guys, such as him, who do what they do. And in all fairness to us, it either seems or looks easy. But the reality of it all is they're just so good at it that it becomes second nature to them. It becomes like breathing. It becomes, like I said, like blinking. So, big props and kudos to you because, like I said, I
Hey,
got
dude,
some
who
stuff.
does a fucking funeral? Who does a funeral, bro?
And that's what I'm saying. Like when I tell you people was like they say, "Yo, no, you don't understand." They was like, "Yo, your man had the funeral like on lock." It was like he just would no. They said because he was keeping it moving. They said it was interesting things happening, and Talent just knew how to segue from moment to moment and make it all seem like it was really all moving like through his his wizardry. So, I wanted to, give you props on that. But getting back to, like you said, what we are saying about the music, you take any and all of these artists, you take, like I said, music as a whole. And this is why I think, for me, and you and I talk about this all the time extensively, and this is probably why you DJ and do your late night thing. Music has a way of transcending, so many different things. For those of you who think I'm lying, y'all think about the elements, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Y'all could say what you want. There's certain songs if you put on right now, some of y'all will start crying, some of y'all start laughing, some of y'all start dancing. Stevie Wonder, same thing. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And what I'm finding now that I'm getting older is what I'm enjoying about the music isn't only just the lyrics and the songs themselves, but the instrumentation on a lot of things that we have just listened to for years. You go back now, you be like, this horn part right here, or this drum track right here, or these varying things are what also makes the music so endearing to us. And the fact that we are losing musicians left and right, obviously due to age and and everything else going on in the world, is kind of disheartening. But I say this. I'm thankful that each and every one of these people has given us blueprints and have laid down things that will be with us,
Yeah.
until we leave here. You know what I mean? And
And that's
Biz,
what I love about music is
yes,
that you lay these tracks and you leave these records and they are forever. They're made. They're there. So when you're gone, you leave this catalog or this legacy. Even if it's the people who have two fucking huge hits, they may be hits that are fucking signifying something much greater than the record sales.
yeah,
But that's why I bring up, all these people. Like we can go over the recently lost and say, well, damn, who was motivated? To me, all of them. Black
yes,
Rob, when you look at a Black Rob and a DMX, they're more motivating because they wore the rough the rough way they was raised on their sleeves, so to speak. They came from the hood of hoods. They had everything going against them, and to make themselves prevalent and relevant and be these artists that they are known to the rest of the world. That's jumping hurdles over top of hurdles over top of mountains, and they
yes,
got that done. So those are pictures for you to look at as another human being who may be coming from the inner city or some sort of struggle or some sort of broken home or foster home or whatever, or shelter, and say, hey, these dudes took nothing to make something. Why can't I take nothing to make something? So those guys are like in that light. Then you got Shock G, who again, another one of those happy ass rappers with that
Yeah.
good ass, do what you like and Humpty Dance. Same thing with Prince Marky D. They made us laugh and
Bad
everything.
Boys.
And they had skills. They just took they got a lane and they locked that damn lane down. And the Fat Boys were instrumental and motivational as well. Like so, everybody we lost, bro, was the DMXs, the Shot G's, the Bismarck E, all of these people gone too soon, but have a big part in that. Now I'm gonna switch to music, to like R&B or different genres other than rap, but I wanted to show this first. Now this right here, brother,
Uh
this
huh.
is this is Black Wall Street.
Wow. Beautiful.
So this is one of the guys who sell these is my buddy Vision, who was vending on the Atlantic City weekend,
Okay.
and he's the guy that I partner up with and get the Black History calendars of 2022, the history of Black comedy, volume one, that I've been advocating and selling everywhere I go and pushing to people because you need to have this in your archive. It's a great collector's item. So this guy, he has these. Now, it's a big portrait of all of these Black entrepreneurs and business owners and farmers and all of these guys that made this prominent area what it was. And there's a couple of, look in there, there's a couple of light skins and whites in there, but it was predominantly all of us, from the rooter to the tutor. And that's a collector's thing. So, I grabbed a few of these to bring the frame to put up in the office and stuff, when
Yes.
but that's also, I just wanted to give them a shout out on that because that's definitely motivational. Now, we talk about music all the time. We talk about how music not only motivating, but it's the soundtrack to life. I always say this, and I was saying this talking to somebody in Florida, like, yo, there's just music and songs that go to every mood and every instance in life. Weddings, funerals, falling in love, falling out of love, having a baby,
Birthday
losing
celebrations.
a
Yep.
birthday, Christmas, Halloween, everything in life, bro.
Yes.
Going to war, winning a war, losing a war, sibling rivalry, every single thing. Believe it or not, every single thing. So we talked about hip hop. Now let me throw some R&B because that's the next prevalent music to me that resonates with me. And it makes you feel good and you feel motivated. I feel like artists like Regina Belle did that for me.
Hmm.
Um, if I go male, obviously Michael Jackson did that for me in so many different realms of his span of career. You got to say Prince did it for people too, because you could be ugly as a motherfucker, but when sexy motherfucker come on,
You.
I've seen some of the worst get off the wall, like sexy motherfucker, and I'm like, I don't think this is for you.
Yo, trust and believe. T. You nailing like, and the fun thing is, again, as you get older, there are artists that and you heard, but maybe as a young person, the words or their movement didn't resonate with you the same way. So like cats like Marvin Gaye. Now when I listen to Marvin Gaye stuff, I'd be like, Marvin is a monster. He's not just nice with the vocals, but his word, his riffs, his just everything musically about about him is something of amazement. Like I said, you start taking into consideration. For me, Anita Baker was a huge thing for me. When we were young. I
Right.
love me some Anita Baker. Stephanie Mills. Um, I had the pleasure of seeing Stephanie Mills as a kid in the Wiz on out on Broadway. She was Dorothy, and I was a little kid, and I was like, "Yo, this lady got a big voice, but she little. Like, I don't understand where this big voice is coming from. This little person." So to see any and all of those kinds of things, as you move on through life, and then obviously we got to always give props to kind of the queens who birthed all of these others, and that's the
Right.
Gladyses of the world, and the Patti LaBelles, and and people of that magnitude, Diana Ross, and list goes on and on and on. But you're absolutely right. The R&B segue of our life, or the R&B soundtrack of our life, it has so many twists and turns. That you just I know for me personally, I find myself now trying to find mixes left and right of all kinds of genres, because I don't only want to just be on Stevie Wonder, for an hour. I might want two Stevie songs, and then you follow with a
Right.
Luther, and then you give me, like you said, a Regina Bell, and you come back with a Stephanie Mills, and this and that and the third, because I feel like each and every one of these different voices and moments brings something else to the table. It allows you to really get that, get your mojo going, and figure out exactly what about the songs and about the emotions of the songs resonates with you. That's why I think music is so powerful. And I hate the fact that it's been given categories per se, because I think on the grander scale, it's about what resonates with you. It's not about it was this kind of artist or it was this kind of music. I live in in a neighborhood where some of my neighbors are from St. Lucia, so I was never aware of the whole listening to country music, but apparently that's a big thing for the West Indian community, is listening to country music. Now, I'm not a big country music fan. Donna Summer, you're absolutely right, Trina. Now, I'm not a big fan of country music per se, but the weird thing is, the more I hang around them and listen to it through their eyes or through their ears, I'm like, this actually isn't that bad. This is pretty damn good. Wait a minute.
Well, I've been,
So,
I've been guilty. I've been guilty of getting caught up with some country. You know what I mean? But let me tell you this: I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in your spokes right now, because
okay.
we're talking about music being motivational. We're talking about artists that have fucking motivated millions over the years, and we appreciate that. You got to talk about R. Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you talk about motivational music, now, here's the thing: can you put your, not you per se, Amir, but everybody out there, can you put your big boy drawers on, and can you deal with an R. Kelly conversation, even though we know that we don't like what he allegedly did? We don't stand by that. We don't condone that. We, matter of fact, despise that, because we are parents of young children. So, with that being said, can you put your big boy or big girl drawers on and differentiate from that and this? Because when you look at I Believe I Can Fly, when you look
Yes.
at I'm the Greatest, when you look at Step in the Name of Love, when you look at I Wish.
And he's written countless other songs for other artists that are motivating to us, that we, if you really pull up that man's catalog, you'd be mad at yourself. You'd be like, damn, I want to hate this dude, but he's got all my favorite songs on my
But you can,
playlist.
here's my thing. You can hate the dude,
Yeah.
but don't hate the music.
You
That's
can't.
what I mean by separation. Like, obviously Marvin Gaye wasn't a perfect dude. That's why him and his pops got where they got, and got to where it escalated where it is. So ain't no telling on who was right and wrong, and what all types of shit was said and done in that little, turbulent situation. However, the music remains great. They could have told me anything. Well, Marvin Gaye, reason that happened is he fucked the father's new girlfriend, or he did this, that, and nothing good about whatever it is he did. But I got to be able to separate the music, because I live that. It has some sort of tracking or sound tracking to something in my life for me to connect with it in the first place. And now these things come up. Okay, well, we know we live in a governed society, and that's going to handle that. But this is still this song still
This is
motivating. This song
still
still got me
resonant.
through college. This song got me through my first birth. This song got whatever.
Yes.
Can
And
you put your big boy drawers on?
and I think, to your point, it also lends to the fact that, maybe in some cases, and this is again trying to put a positive spin just on things, when it comes to artists in particular, and some artists, the darker the things that we don't necessarily know about, maybe that helps them pen that much better. Meaning the things that they're able to come up with and share with the world or bring to the world. Not only is their way of, I don't want to say cry for help because I don't know if they're necessarily crying for help, but that's their way of saying this is my contribution. I got this craziness going on in my own world and this and that and the third. However, this is what I'd like to see the world like, or this is
But that's
maybe,
very interesting.
you
You know
know,
why it's very interesting? Because that's what the general consensus is when people talk about Mary J. Blige.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And again, because I don't know if you saw this, but I saw this a little early. I'm didn't do my fact checking, so if I'm a little premature with this, I apologize. But they were saying the guy, producer Chucky Booker, apparently passed, and they were saying he was predominantly responsible for I can't think of which Mary J. Blige project, but he
I
was the
think
guy.
it's
I saw it. You know who Chuck Bone is
yeah.
from Puffy's. Yeah, Chuck Bone posted it because he had a picture of Puffy with that gentleman. He was saying, my condolences are, and I was like, wow,
I just seen something. You know what Chucky Booker was just at? He was just doing one of those pass the mics with DJ what's my man name? Cassidy.
Oh, with Cassidy.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I saw Chuck Bone posted something today. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure, so please,
I'm
if
looking
I'm,
right now. Hold on a second.
I don't want
I'll let you
everybody
know
to
right now. It is.
get.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
Interesting.
But again, to your point, this is one of the conundrums that we have as human beings is trying to, like you said, separate some of these things from, the artistry from the person. And sometimes it's a little tough because, as parents, as human beings, as fellow, uh, fellow people who, frequent this whole entire universe and this entire world, we'd like to see the best in one another. We really would. I say this all the time. I don't know if any of y'all out here have any friends who, gloom and doom, meaning, usually when you speak to them, everything is always woe is me, or, they don't like me at the job and this is wrong and that's wrong. And here's my thing. We all have them. I just don't understand how you live your life like that all the time. It's got to be tiring because I know this to speak things into existence, which is what you do when you talk about it, when you think about it, when you act in certain ways. How do you continue to do that? I hang out with this cat over here as much as I can because I know we're gonna laugh,
Yep.
we're gonna have a good time. And I find that if you're going to do something, then please surround yourself with people and things that uplift you, that sow into you, pour into you, that try to put you in the best place possible so you can win and cheer for you, by the way. Not just, whatever they, that's my people over there, whatever, whatever. No, they, all right now, go ahead, do the damn thing. We have to get back to that. Wednesday that just passed, I tried to sneak into salsa. Like I can sneak into salsa. I tried to sneak into salsa, so I'm sitting in the audience to the right of the stage. Matter of fact, right where Mike Neesy is, like in alignment with him. And I was like 2 rows back. So Rob gets up, he's doing what he's doing. And the funny thing about, because I've never, done what you guys do, I don't know how much y'all can see out into the crowd, but obviously it's pretty good. So Rob is doing his warm up and he said, Amir? And I just had to laugh because I know in Rob's heart and his mind, everybody thinks I'm in Vegas. So they like, fuck is Amir doing in the building? So he goes on to tell the crowd, he said, y'all don't know this. He said, y'all heard me mention that man Amir. He said, I've known that cat well over 30 years. And I had to think about it for a second. I was like, you know what? Rob's not lying. Amir is 28 and he knew me prior to me having a mirror. So I was like, he's not lying. But, I say that to say, again, this is what I mean about surrounding yourself with people who are doing phenomenal things and who you can see moving, on to their next level and cheering for them. Talent, Rob, Gerald, Drew, Tracy Morgan, the list goes on and on. These are all gentlemen that I've known since day one. They can tell you, if if there was ever somebody who probably should be in comedy, it's probably me, because I've been there since day one. Like literally, I tell you, true story. How many shows have I been at where people probably said to you, "Yo, is Big Man getting on or whatever?" And you like, "Yo, he don't do comedy. He just here to support." Because people think like he's always here. But that's because I love you guys, and I'm like I said, super proud of everything you guys have accomplished. And I said this to somebody. This is what I mean. This is why I say we also got to stay the course and got to stay motivated. Success is whatever you see as success for yourself. So, sometimes people say things like, Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer and this one and Chris Tucker and whatever. And you guys have been on all those same shows, and
Right.
you've had all of the, successes in your own right. Movies, TV shows, appearances, radio. The list goes on and on and on. The problem is too many of us spend too much of our time trying to compare our success to our friends and family. Stop doing that. Your success is your success. That's why it's called your success. It ain't called we success. It ain't called our success. It's called your success. And when you start embracing that the way that you could and you should, I promise you, you won't be upset about none of the other stuff that you see going on, because you'll realize that all the beauty that goes for you is for you. It's never going to be any different than that. But you gotta understand that. That is major, major, major. So please, guys,
Yeah, you
find
gotta stop. You gotta stop chasing other people's dreams. You should have something outlined for yourself, everybody, no matter what you do for a living. I tell people this, and this came up at Biz's funeral too, as one thing that you kept hearing over and over again when people spoke, different people speaking, but you keep hearing people say, "Oh, Biz was a dreamer, man," like, blah blah blah. And then somebody, the last person said it, but capped it out with like, we're all dreamers to an extent, and dreaming is good, but the doers, and that's great. Now, Biz, yeah, he was a dreamer like everybody else, but he was a doer. Like, they would laugh and they were like, because Big would, lie shit into fruition. You know what I mean? He would lie before the shit is sealed or whatever and say that it was. And then people would laugh at him like, this motherfucker always lying. But then it becomes real.
reality.
You know what I mean? So there's dreamers and then there's doers. Doers are the people that, yeah, they had the dream, but they understand that they got to sprinkle more ingredients into the dream before it gets done. It's like I tell my son in comedy, like a joke, you may think that you're done with the joke ain't done with you. Like a joke is never done. You can get up there and you wonder why you see a comic go, why do I hear him tell this joke a lot? Or why is it always, because he's constantly trying to perfect that joke. You may not see it, but there's these little tangibles that's attached in there, and segues and ad libs and mannerisms and timing moments that the comic is doing, so he can feel like he got the best way to do it possible. And even then, the joke's still not done. You may be done with the joke, but inadvertently the joke's not done with you. So then you'll tell it one night thinking it's done, and something will happen. Something new will regurgitate in there and make it even newer that night. And then you're like, damn, just when I thought I'm done with this motherfucker, I think of this shit. Like, so it's a constant work in progress. And that's what our dreams are. Yeah, we all dream. Like my aunt called me yesterday and had me on the phone and had me cracking up because she was like, she didn't call to say, hey, T, put me on the list for 2 tickets for your thing in Brooklyn. She was like, I'm trying to buy the 2 tickets. It's not working on the site. I said, well, Auntie, go to do the Cash App thing or whatever. She does it. And she was like, can you believe it's 30 years? And I said, actually, no. Actually, it doesn't feel like 30. She said, it's crazy. It seemed like yesterday. I remember talking to your mother when you quit your job, and your mother said, this crazy motherfucker. This motherfucker go quit his fucking job, talking about he about to go make people laugh, this comedy shit. And you know what's funny is when she said that, I didn't say nothing to her, but in my mind, I'm like, that's why I love my family, because it took me about 10, 15 years to even think about the process. And I said to myself, even if they felt this way, bro, they never put that on me. They
Yeah.
never literally and physically came and put it on me. They let me walk the walk, run the run, and chips fall where they may. And I mean, like, never. I mean, not even like a sidebar, like, yo, you sure, nigga, you crazy? Like, none of that. So when she said this is a conversation I wasn't privy to until this moment. My mother's dead. She's here. And she's like, I remember your mother was. And I'm just taking it in like, damn.
But you know, and that's why, you know, a few minutes ago I said what I said. We got to find those people that are already. You look, so many of y'all have people already on your team who can see things that you like. You can't even imagine that are dope about you, and they're trying to accentuate it in varying ways. And this is, you know, going back to what I said early on when we first started. This is why you have to take a moment, sometime, listen, really drink in what people are saying to you. Because if you're
Mhm.
hearing the same thing from multiple sources, there's something there. So now you have to figure out, what am I supposed to do with this? Because that's multiple sources. One person, okay. Two people, eh. Multiple sources, damn it, what am I missing? Because can't be this many people enamored with what I can't see. And it must mean that I'm supposed to be working towards something. I'm supposed to be learning something. I'm supposed to be growing in some way, or I'm supposed to be sharing something that now the rest of the world and everybody else can now build and learn from. And I'm telling you, it when I tell you these lights come on, this speaking to you guys, as I tell y'all every week, this is why I love doing this show. Y'all are my therapy. I know you hear people say stuff like that all the time, but y'all are truly my therapy, because this stuff comes right in the moment. I don't write anything down. Tal and I sometimes will, you know, bounce things off each other before the show, but that's just so we kind of have a direction. But most times, he and I just, or at least I can speak for me. I know I'm speaking from my heart, and I'm telling y'all, you know, things that are, you know, coming to my mind in real time, because I realize when you look at the world as a whole, not in,
Right.
you know, particular segues, but as a whole, fake is in, lying is in, trying to be things that you're not is in. All these things seem to be in, yet none of them are real. So that's what's so amazing about that to me. I can't say that, you know, that's for everybody else. I'm just saying, to me, that's what's so amazing, because, you know, you hear all of this talk of the women, you know, in the case of women, the ones with the fake bodies, they winning. No, they're not.
They
No,
win in what? What do they win?
they're not winning. They're not winning because, in all fairness to y'all, you can only go but so far with that, because after a while, there's nothing for it to turn into. The one thing I've embraced with getting older is just that. I'm getting older. Doesn't mean I'm old. Doesn't mean I'm past my prime. Doesn't mean this, that, or the third. It just means through this journey and through this process, I'm learning more and more about myself. I'm learning more and more about the world. I'm learning more and more about the people who are in my circle. And I'm finding how dope all of that process is, and how motivating it can be, getting deep and getting your fingers down in there and getting dirty with going through the process. That's the dope part of all of this. You, if you could find yourself 20 years ago or 30 years ago and have that conversation, you'd be like, man, you don't know what you went for, boy, when you get to this age or when you get to this stage of life, because you didn't have any idea. You were floundering around early. You know what else I seen, T? That was up on the stage? Joe Jackson. Remember Joe
Yeah,
Jackson,
yeah,
promoter Joe Jackson? He was
yeah.
on the stage. And I was laughing to myself. I was like, dang, I hadn't seen Joe Jackson in years, but it was still good to see him. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, like I said, to see all these, you know, varying things that have been a part of my development from day one, and to watch all of it, you know, unfold the way that it's unfold. I can't be happy about all of
Shout
this.
out to Joe Jackson, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what? Now that you bring that up, that's another thing that, at me as an artist, as a comic, and a constant like show guy, I gotta say that there have been a bunch of promoters along the way that are equally motivating to a guy to do what I do. You know, because I want to. That's like, damn, that's right there, mirroring the front lines of building that confidence you need, and giving that stamp of approval. Because it's one thing with you guys, the fan, are one thing. It's a whole nother thing for the promoter, to give that stamp of approval, because those real good promoters, they pay attention to their crowd. They see what they like, they hear what they like, they hear them out. They don't just try to book what they like. They book what their people, their constituency like. It's almost like a good council person. You vote them in, and they got the constituencies, their issues at the forefront, not anything else. Everybody's talking about this, but yeah, where I live at, my people worry about this. You know what I mean? Like Flint, Michigan council people talking about totally different shit than LA. They're like, fuck all that. Our water's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the promoters, in a sense, is like that to us, because the Joe Jacksons, rest in peace to Kevin Shores, rest in peace to Gator, Dwayne, the Dow Hicks, just the solid ass promoters that's been around. Even my man Keith Armstrong, when he had Harambe. Remember Harambe? Like, these are guys that me and Keith became the tightest of friends over the years. This guy don't know me from shit. I don't know him from shit. He just heard, book this guy. He's funny. He books me. I destroy the shit. He's like, Keith's tough crack. He was like, all right, you everything they say you are, blah, blah, blah. And the next time he throws another one, he's booking. Next thing you know, he puts me in charge of comedy. Same thing with Black and Gold. You're in charge of our comedy. Same thing with Kevin Shore. You're in charge of, you got a little money. You got an eye for this shit. You're good at this shit. Plus, if we fall in trouble, nigga, you Captain Save-A-Ho, blah, blah, blah. Do this thing. But those things are equal batteries in your back to keep you motivated to go a step further. So I want to just send a super special shout out to all the positive promoters. That's a hard job, and they're still here, and they stand the test of time, other than the ones that we said rest in paradise to. Thank you guys. I mean, you guys equally are in that category. Like I said, artists, name some R&B people, name some rappers. Promoters go in that motherfucker too. Just like comedians that precede you, give you a blueprint of something. Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. They inspired you, but so do these people who put you in the forefront in front of people to keep you working. And I just wanted to shout them out, man. I mean, this has been a stone cold hour.
Really talking, digging deep, and I say this, again, humbly, y'all. This is what we mean about finding those things for you that you find motivating. These might be just some of the things that Talon and I have touched on that, mean something to us. Your list may be something else totally different, but here's what's dope about that list. Share it with somebody. Call up a few of your friends. Have maybe the same conversation. Play this video back, and y'all have a 5 of this and a 5 of that. Because what happens is that becomes infectious. Things that become infectious in a positive way have a way of making things better overall. And our job here, our job is, human beings, our jobs as friends, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, all these things, is to make this place better. But the only way we can do that is we got to start with each other. And that means sewing into each other. That means checking on each other. That means, giving each other that leg up, those standing ovations when you see your people doing whatever they're doing. Congratulations takes nothing. I watch so many of y'all, on the various platforms, and you see birthday celebrations or you see, stuff happening. It's okay to say congratulations, even if you don't know them personally. It's okay. Why? Because it's something to be congratulated. It's something to be said for that moment. Jeez, yo, we tough. People be a tough crowd. You ever see? I ain't gonna say that. What? It's a congratulatory moment. It's so crazy to you? This to show you how tough a crowd we've become. I note now, and thank the season is over now for a little bit. But I remember just even this past year, the few people I did see in caps and gowns, and this was before the even pandemic happened. Hey, congratulations. They look at you with, didn't you just graduate? You got on a cap and gown. Would you run around here doing Halloween cap and gown? Like, what are we doing? Damn it, you graduated something. Just take the thank you. Keep it pushing. You out here looking at people strange because they say congratulations. What's wrong with you?
We are indeed a tough crowd, brother. We have went over our hour. This has
Yes.
been your boy Tyler. This is your boy Amir. Sign them off, son.
Yay. As always, y'all, it's Motivational Monday. Let's get it. Let's do what we do best, and that is get out here. And as I always tell you guys, it's nice to be important. It's much more important to be nice. Find what it is that motivates you: art, cooking, music, whatever it is. Become immersed in it. Allow it to keep that engine going. As Talent said a little while back in this show, we get to midweek sometimes, and we kind of we sputtering. Let's find that motivation to get all the way to Friday, because Friday we back at you, baby.
Yes, sir.
Fridays. So I want everybody to have a phenomenal, phenomenal week. We love you. We respect each and every one of you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all come on back and see us next Monday.
And stand by. I heard from a birdie something might happen late tonight. I don't know. I'll see you later. Stay motivated.
Right. Yes, sir. Love, King.